Hello, it's been a while, hasn't it? I've come out because the weather's so mild today and it's supposed to be getting even better tomorrow. But my garden is a mess. I'm almost embarrassed to film any of it. I'm about a month behind where I would usually be this time of year. Plans I had back in October, which those that have followed me for some time know that I had decided to remodel the garden because it just wasn't working for me. But all those plans got scuppered because I couldn't get anybody in to help me. We've then had 3 storms. I've had several ailments that have kept me out of the garden and been stuck indoors. And in addition to all of that, I've begun a new venture. I'm retired now. I retired almost a year ago. But I like crafting, I like making things, I like sewing, and friends had been encouraging me for some time that I should perhaps open up an Etsy shop, which I haven't actually done as such. But what I have done is I've got a new Facebook page for the things that I make, basically centred around dogs. And so I've been indoors crafting a lot. I've done one craft show. I've got another one beginning of April, one in May and 2 in June. So I've got a lot sort of down that avenue to focus on. And I may even end up opening an online shop, but we'll see how that goes. But it's about time I come out in the garden. I think in my last video I mentioned that the greenhouse was a dumping ground for a lot of my son's stuff who'd moved back home. Well, I never got round to sorting it out, so I'm going to try this afternoon to get some of the stuff out of my greenhouse, give it a bit of a clean, tidy it up, and then try and organise it for this new growing season. And like I mentioned already, I'm at least a month behind where I would normally be. So I've been down the garden centre today because I'd run out of bird seed and fat balls for the birds. And I've bought some tomato plants and some chilli plants rather than growing them by seed. Just so I've got something growing in the greenhouse, and then I'm going to have to go through all my seeds, which I think I said I was going to do last time, but haven't. So yeah, I need to go through all my seeds and get a wiggle on, basically. So let me just turn the camera around a minute and you can see how awful the garden is. There's so much that I haven't done. All my tubs need emptying. The far bed right over by the fence needs cutting back and tidying up. My paving slabs all need cleaning. There's weeding to be done everywhere. My fruit cage, which I've been moaning about for the last 2 years and have done absolutely nothing about it to repair it, is really dilapidated now. So I've got a lot to do. But I'm not going to be downhearted about it. I just need to get my backside into action. So yeah, and you might even get a glimpse of Paddy in a little while. I think he's upstairs on the bed having a sleep, but I took him to the groomers yesterday because he was so scruffy, and now he's had everything taken off and he looks really cute. So we'll see if he can put in an appearance in a little while. So I'm going to crack on. Speak to you in a bit. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm going to try and save some of the compost that's in all these pots, because it gets very expensive constantly replacing all of it. But what I'll do is I'll get a couple more bags, and then I'll put 50-50 in, and also the plants that go in are in their own bedding soil as well. So, but I'm sifting through it at the moment to make sure there's no grubs in there, because if there are, and then I go and plant some flowers or whatever I put in the pots, they will eat all the roots. So the first pot I've just gone through, there was nothing in it to be worried about, but if I find anything I'll show you. Someone's come to join us. And this is what I was referring to. This is a vine weevil grub. If there's one, there's bound to be others in here. Now I need to make sure they're all gone, because they will live on all the roots of anything that I plant in here. If there's too many, then I should just ditch this batch of compost and start again. Well, it's almost 5:30. It's starting to get quite dusky now. I've cleaned out the bird bath, cleaned out these tubs, tidied up over there, cleaned out all the tubs, got rid of all the dead leaves. I've raked over that bed and this one, and come up here. I've sorted out my greenhouse. So I've got geraniums still going strong from last year. My white or brown and red onions. Garlic doesn't look that good. Might have to get some more. I've got some tomatoes today. So I've got Roma, Alicante and Shirley. And I've got 2 chilies, which are the Scotch bonnet and the Apache. I've put my potatoes out, so Charlotte, Penton Javelin and Cara. So these are first early, second early, and main crop. Bought some more sweet peas, because unfortunately the ones I sowed over winter, I didn't come out and water them and they died, which is not very good of me. I've just given my lemons a bit of a soak in. They look pretty miserable. I don't know if that's going to survive, but fingers crossed. So still loads to do, but it's supposed to be quite nice tomorrow, so I'll have another go at it tomorrow. But I'm tired now. I'm going to go in, do Paddy's tea, and then think about my dinner. So I'll speak to you soon. Afternoon, so I'm back in the garden. Sorry, I'm trying not to squint because the sun's right in my eyes at the moment, but I've just tidied up the summer house, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a look at all my seeds and see what I've got ready that I can sow and what I need to buy. So this is the box that I have all my seeds in. It's all labelled up, so I've got herbs, flowers, lettuce, roots, brassicas, leeks and onions, greens and radish on that side, and then things for the greenhouse, beans, courgettes, peas, sweet corn, carrots, tomatoes and salad leaves. So one of the crops that I absolutely love growing is sweet corn. I spent some time this afternoon sorting through my seeds, and for some reason it didn't record everything, so I've come back out here just to go through what I've got and what I'm going to be sowing in the next few days. So where are we going to start? So the first thing that I've got is my sweet corn. This is Swift, and it says sow by 2024, so they've got a bit of life in them, obviously, still. And I've got, oh, you can see that I've got quite a few. It's enough for my little garden. Oh, I've lost one. There it is. So I love them. That's one of my definite favourites for the garden. So first one, lettuce. So Lola Rosso, and I've got plenty of that. You can actually sow this from this month right up into August because it's almost an all-rounder. So that's one of my favourite salad leaves. And then I've got red salad bowl, which is a mixed leaf. And again, you can sow those between March and July, so that's got quite a long sowing period. Radishes, if you've got young children, brilliant thing to grow in the garden. You get results within a few weeks, ready to pick. Very, very easy to grow and ideal for filling up gaps between crops and before the main growing season kicks off. So I've got Cherry Bell and French Breakfast. So again, they'll be sown directly into the soil, not in pots. Now, let's have a look at my beans. Beans are definitely a staple for my garden. Runner beans. Got Scarlet Emperor. So they have a red flower. They're a very good crop. When I sowed them last year, they went right into October, late October. I'm still picking them, which was quite surprising. Right, this is a dwarf variety. So these are purple beans, and it's a dwarf variety. So you get little bush-like plantlets, and when you cook them, they turn a really dark green, but they're the purple amethyst. And then next, oh, this is my favourite. I love these. Started growing these a few years ago. It's the climbing French bean, Golden Gate. They're the flat pod, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Again, they produce quite a lot of beans, but they do get disease. I've lost most of mine towards I think the end of July, August time to mosaic virus, so they're a bit precious. What else have I got? Another staple for the garden is the climbing French bean. These are small thin pods like stick beans. Really, really prolific. There, you get a bumper crop from these. I usually grow 4 or 5 plants. That's more than enough for me. It gets to the point where I'm freezing more than I'm eating. So small black bean. Peas. Now I have got an early variety, Kelvin Wonder, which is I think it's a smallish plant, but lovely pods. And I've got main crop, which is Meteor. which are a much taller plant, but very good crops. But having said that, you know, in a small space you can't have many plants, so you don't get massive amount. And I tend to eat them all raw straight off the plant. I don't even get as far as the kitchen. They're like sweeties. So that's my peas, and finally back to the courgettes. Sow these in April, so I can hang on to them for a bit longer. But I usually sow 3 seeds, and I pick 2 of the strongest, and those 2 plants are more than enough for me, because when they get going, it's like a machine gun. They're just chucking them out daily, so you get so many, you'll be giving them away. So that's where I am at the moment. I'm about a month behind where I would normally be at this time, but I think it'll catch up. So I better get a wiggle on. In fact, having said that, I probably actually will wrap this up today, because Paddy's round my feet and he's making it clear that he's hungry. So I need to go in and give him his tea. So I think my next video will be sowing the seeds. So I'll speak to you soon.